بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Allah says about the Quran, إن في ذلك لذكرى لمن كان له قلب أو ألقى السمع وهو شهيد. In this remembrance of the Quran, he says, people who will find the benefit in what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about and reminded them of are those people who have one of two qualities. لمن كان له قلب أو ألقى السمع وهو شهيد. Scholars say that this classifies the people who benefit from the Quran into two classes. One of them, which is the highest level, are those people whose hearts have become like on the straight path. Like the qalb itself has abided by Allah's way and has become full of the true belief and the aqidah sahiha yani. This kind of qalb receives the Quran without any difficulty, and it believes in everything that it hears, from the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This qalb has become typical of the pure fitrah, لمن كان له قلب. And that, of course, is a high level. This kind of qalb does not seek evidence, like does not look around and try to find proof for what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said. If Allah said it, then that is enough for this kind of qalb. But the other class of people, ألقى السمع وهو شهيد, someone who is trying to benefit from the Quran, although he is not at that high level of the first class, but he puts effort. Whenever the Quran is recited, he listens and he's very attentive to what is said. وهو شهيد, meaning being attentive. And he knows that this came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so he accepts these facts. أو ألقى السمع وهو شهيد. وإذا قرأ القرآن فاستمعوا له وأنصتوا لعلكم ترحمون. Again, when the Quran is recited, you have to pay attention and listen to benefit from it. Then Surah Al-Dariyat. And Surah Al-Dariyat, والذاريات ذروة فالحاملات الأخرى. Imam Shafi reports a story that he one time was traveling in the desert and he met an Arabi Bedouin, and the Bedouin asked him, where are you coming from? And Imam Shafi was coming from either Medina or Mecca. So he told him, I'm coming from that place where the Prophet was sent. He said, there was a Prophet. At that time the Arabi was not in contact with civilization at all, not in contact with what's happening in the cities, just living in the desert for years and years. He said, there was a Prophet. He said, yes. And he says, he was given the word of Allah. He said, the word of the Creator of heavens and earth is available, that it's on this earth, that the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, yes. He says, why don't you let me listen to some of it? And he recited to him part of Surah Al-Dariyat, وَالذَّارِيَاتِ ذَرْوَةً فَالْحَامِلَاتِ الْأُخْرَى. Just a small part of it. So the man was so convinced just by listening even to maybe one page of the surah. And he left. And it just happened that about a year or 2 years later, Imam Shafi one time was making tawaf in Mecca, and he found somebody calling on him from a distance. So he stopped and saw who was calling on him, and he did not recognize the man. He said to him, I'm the man that you met a year or two before. But he had actually lost a lot of weight. He believed in Allah very firmly, and he worshipped Allah day and night. and he had lost a lot of weight. So he said, I didn't even recognize you. So I said to him, why don't you recite to me some of the ayat that you recited last time to me? And he recited again from Surah Al-Zariyat. But this time he reached قوله تعالى فورب السماء والأرض إنه لحق مثل ما أنكم تنطقون. And this is an oath, فورب السماء, an oath by Allah, the creator of the heavens and earth, that this is حق مثل ما أنكم تنطقون, just like you are talking. Immediately the Arabi, the Bedouin, when he heard this ayah, he started yelling, and he says, من أغضب الجبار حتى يحلف ألم يصدقوه فألجأوه إلى القسم. And he kept on saying that very loudly, yelling, until he died. Well, the meaning is that who made Allah angry? Who made Allah angry? So that he made an oath. He said, did they not believe him in the first place? So that he had to make an oath so that they believe in him? This is the meaning. من أغضب الجبار حتى يحلف ألم يصدقوه فألجأوه إلى القسم فورب السماء والأرض إنه الحق مثل ما أنكم تنطقون. This kind of response happens to people who have firm belief and know that each single letter mentioned here is the actual wording of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the actual saying of Allah. So he get that kind of response. He was amazed why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making an oath. Allah, the creator of heavens and earth, does not need the people. They believe, they don't believe, that's for their benefit, or it will only harm them if they do not believe, right? But still Allah keeps on calling on the people one time after the other, one time after the other, sends messenger after another messenger. And he confirms the facts that he is talking to them about in many different ways. And one of the ways to confirm these facts is to make an oath for them. And subhanAllah, yes, it is something amazing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is confirming these facts by making an oath. Sometimes even your friend who is very dear to you, and he makes an oath, says, Wallah, he says, no, why are you making qasam? I believe you just because you're my friend. You're very honest. You don't need to make halif, right? You don't need to make an oath. And look at this, فَوَرَبِّ السَّمَاءِ وَالْأَرْضِ إِنَّهُ لَحَقٌّ مِثْلَ مَا أَنَّكُمْ تَنْطِقُونَ. This is a saying the Arab has. You know, when you want to say to someone, you're telling someone a story, for instance, and he starts, doubting or something, not very sure. Then you say to him, no, this happened. This is just like you're standing in front of me right now. I saw it with my own eyes, just like you are standing in front of me. This is the meaning. This is haqq, just like the fact that you are now here and alive and talking. So do you doubt that you're here and alive and talking right now? No, we don't doubt that. This is the same. That the facts mentioned in the Quran are haqq and are truth, and that they are facts, established facts, just like you are talking. And then you look at the ayah of السماء بنيناها بأيد وإنا لموسعون. Allah talks about building the heavens. بأيد means with powers and قوة. أيد mean قوة, that forces. And this is something they only found these days, that there are so many different forces that keep these planets in place, right? There's the gravitation force, and قوة في حد من المهندسين يقول لنا حاجة. There's more than one force, صح ولا إيه؟ Magnetic force. There's just so many forces, I just don't know them. So it's not بأيد وإنا لموسعون, that I will keep expanding it. This is a huge fact. This is a huge miracle. Talking about all the forces that hold each planet and each orbit in place, and that Allah will continue to expand it. And they discovered maybe 50 or 60 years ago. Subhanallah, and this is amazing. And then also the fact that everything is made out of pairs. ومن كل شيء, everything is made out of pairs. خلقنا الزوجين لعلكم تذكرون. And immediately he says ففروا إلى الله, meaning run back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These facts are amazing. If Allah says in Surah Shu'ara, إن نشأ ننزل عليهم من السماء آية فظلت أعناقهم لها خاضعين, I can give them an ayah that makes their necks like this, so obedient that they can't even raise their heads. This is more than this. If we understand these ayat, this should make us more than this, right? And it won't take long, but وَالْبَيْتِ الْمَعْمُورِ. And this is another thing. Allah is talking about something we haven't seen, but Prophet ﷺ told us about it. وَالْبَيْتِ الْمَعْمُورِ. What is the Bayt al-Ma'mur? This is like the Kaaba, just like the Kaaba for the people of dunya. There's like the Kaaba in the heavens where the Malaika go and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Prophet ﷺ says, يَدْخُلُوا فِي كُلِّ يَوْمٍ سَبْعُونَ أَلْفَ مَلَكٍ لا يعودون إليه إلى يوم كان في كل يوم. Each day 70,000 angels go to worship and they don't return again. Meaning another 70,000 come tomorrow, another 70,000 come the day after. For how many millions and millions and billions of years you don't even know. So this shows you the majesty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then look at the kuffar. فَوَيْلٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي خَوْضٍ يَلْعَبُونَ. الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي خَوْضٍ يَلْعَبُونَ. The kuffar, Allah describes their condition the way that they are so much confused and that they have no basis in life, the way they think or the way they act. That's not based on any fact. They just, whatever comes to mind, whatever, what idea comes to them or a friend tells them about, they just follow. Whatever desire just hits them, we just go for it. So this, Allah describes this as if someone, children when they're playing in a puddle or a small pond and they're running around in the pond and it's all muddy. This is called makhada. Makhada is like a muddy pond or a puddle of water, and the children don't know what they're doing, just running around and playing with their feet, don't know where their feet are falling, and they can't even see the water because it's so muddy. This is called makhada. And the kuffar are just the same. They're walking in life just like the kids are playing in a small puddle. Don't know where each step is going, and there's no basis to what they're doing, right? And it's just يَلْعَبُونَ. They're just playing around in the puddle. And Allah says when they face hellfire, He says to them, look at this, He says to them, سِحْرٌ هَذَا. So this is the hellfire. Now this is the hellfire in front of you, and it's hot and it's real in front of your eyes. And Allah asks them a question, very strong question, criticism. He says, do you think now this is also magic? أَفَسِحْرٌ هَذَا أَمْ أَنْتُمْ لَا تُبْصِرُونَ. Why is that? Because every fact the Quran and the Prophet ﷺ talked about, they, denied or distorted and said, no, that's just asatir, means some stories. This is, and when they see a miracle, sihr mustamir, like we see in Surah Al-Qamar. Even when He split the moon for them, وَقَالُوا sihr mustamir, this is magic. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just like they were saying in dunya, when they face the hellfire system, you think now this hellfire is also magic? And you're feeling the heat in front of you, in your faces? أَفَسِحْرٌ هَذَا أَمْ أَنْتُمْ لَا تُبْصِرُونَ. And at the end of the surah, He shows how they used to deal with the facts in a distorted way. وَإِنْ يَرَوْا كِسْفًا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ سَاقِطًا يَقُولُوا سَحَابٌ مَرْكُومٌ. He says, Allah says, if I drop a piece, like a hard piece of rock or a piece of the sky comes down on them, let's say a meteor or some kind of rock, something hard. كِسْفًا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ سَاقِطًا يَقُولُوا سَحَابٌ مَرْكُومٌ. They start explaining it in different ways so as to avoid facing the fact that Allah is punishing them. They say, this happened because the clouds gathered together and they condensed so hard until they formed this piece, this mass, and this mass fell. So they try to make
Mother Nature.
Exactly, Mother Nature or some kind of material explanation to everything that's happened, even when it's very unusual. Even when the sama drops a piece of rock on them, they try, to explain that. Explanation is good, scientifically it's not bad, but do not distort the main wisdom behind what happened, that Allah is punishing you. You look at all these hurricanes that happened over in the United States, and they never used to happen like in that bad. Every week they have one hitting them. But still, they keep on saying, this is because this is the cold front, and there's depression here, and this one hit this one. And you never ever hear them saying, this is because of our actions. This is because we are unjust these people. This is because we made all these people flee from their cities. Allah is making us now flee from our cities. Subhanallah. So inshallah we'll stop here for going ahead. We need to end this statement and go back and stop.